JavaScript event management is about adding, removing, and controlling events. Looking at the demo on the screen, what do you think is going to happen when the click button is clicked? Well, let's find out. So I'll go ahead and click the button, and you can see it display a message underneath the button, clicked. Now, when the button is clicked, a message appears on the page, and that is because we tell the button to listen for a click, and when it happens, it runs a function. So let's go ahead and build this adding event together. Let's do this together in 4 easy steps. Number 1, let's target the button to be able to select it. Then we'll attach an event listener to listen to when the button is clicked. Step 3, we need to add a function that will run after the click. Step 4, we need a way to update the page to display a message. Let's go through the process of adding events in JavaScript together. Here is my boilerplate code. And for ease of access, I've added some comments so that we know what to do at any point in time. So I have 2 comments here in this CMS section. I have 3 comments in the script section. So let's go ahead and begin to build these events one after the other. So the first step says add a button with an ID of btn and click as text. So here we need a button with an ID of btn and a click text. So now here is my button, and on the screen you can see it. If I click this button now, it is not going to do anything. It is just a normal button element. Now the next one says add a p tag with an ID of demo1. So I'm going to go ahead and add a p tag and give it an ID of demo1, then close it without adding any text. And now you can see I have my p tag. Because there's nothing inside it, it's not going to display, because this is the element that I want to update its content. But if it is in a scenario where I want something inside, I can just put anything. If I put this now, you'll see that it will appear on the screen. But now I don't want any text inside it. Now I can move inside the script tag. The first thing says get the button element by its ID. So how do I get the button element by its ID? Well, I can just make a variable and name it button and store the ID from this button inside it. So I'll use the get element by ID method in order to get the ID of the element. So this is that is what I just did here now. So I've gotten the ID of this button element and I saved it inside this variable of btn. Now the next comment is let button listen for click. So this button that we have here on the screen, we need to add an event to it so that when it is clicked, then it will listen and know that, okay, this button right here has been clicked. So let's go ahead and do that. How do we add that listen event for the click? We need add event listener method in order to be able to add an event to this button. So I'll go ahead and add event listener, and this is going to take 2 things. The first thing is going to be the kind of event that we want to listen for, and then the other thing is going to be the function that you run after the event has been detected. So we are expecting a click event, so that's going to be the first thing that will be inside this place. So I'll add it. Click is the first thing, and then after that click, what do I want again? Well, I want a function to run, but I don't want that function to run instantly. I want it to run only when a click event is performed. That is when that button on the screen is clicked. So I will just put the function in here, but I'm not going to invoke it. If I do it this way, it will invoke the function immediately I make it. But because I am not invoking it directly, so I'll just pass it here as a function. Then I can then come under this place and then create the function. So this is my function that I have here that I pass into this add event listener, I need to now make the function itself so that it can be triggered when the button is clicked. So I'll go ahead and make that function. So the function name is my function, and inside it, I'm going to target the ID of where I want the update to happen on the page, and that is this part, the P part, this piece. You can see I already have an ID of demo one here. So this is where I want the update to happen when the button above it is clicked. So I will be targeting the ID of this particular paragraph so that the update can show on the page. So get element by ID, and the ID I want to target is demo one. Then how do I update it? I'm going to use the inner.html property in order to be able to update its content. And so I'll just set it as clicked. And this way I have all the functions that are needed in order to make this button work. So if you go over this, so you can see we have a button here which corresponds to what you can see with the text inside it. Then we have a p tag which is not showing yet because that is the part where we want to update when this button is clicked. And in our script tag, so we selected the button ID and saved it into a variable, and then that variable is what we add an event listener to. And the event listener purpose is to listen for event. And what kind of event are we expecting in this scenario? We want a click event. So when that click event happens on the button, then the function that will pass here will be called on, then it will trigger. And then here we have that function itself. So what the function is doing is that it's referring to the ID of this paragraph that we have here, because that is where we want the update to happen. And the inner.html property is going to append whatever we have as the update to happen inside that p tag. So I will go ahead now and click the button and you see what is going to happen. So if I click on it, you can see that the text is now shown. And this p tag that we have here is what you can see that is shown here, because we are using the inner.html to write inside the p tag, and that is why you are seeing click under what we have there right now. So you can see that what we have done here follows the steps that we stated. By selecting the button, then we're able to, add an event to it. So when a user clicks the button, then the button will detect an event. Then that event will make the functions to run, and then the page will update. And that is the reason why you are seeing clicks under this place. So a click is just a user action, like when you click on something, like if I click on this. So that is just what a click is. And add event listener that you see here, wait for the events to happen. And you will notice, like I've explained, that here we are not calling the function. So I'm not invoking the function this way. So let me refresh this page so that it go back to what it was before. So if I do it this way, you can see that immediately it calls the function. It's not waiting for the button to be clicked. And that is why we are passing it here as the function, not calling it. We are not calling the function here. We are only passing it here, and it will only trigger when the button is clicked. And inner.html is what helps us to be able to change what appears on the page. So this is how you can add events in JavaScript. Now, what have we done here? We have basically breaks down how an event can be added in JavaScript. And instead of writing JavaScript inside our HTML here, we use add event listener to attach event. This keeps our code clean and more flexible. Now, what do you think will happen if we click the button multiple times? Let's go ahead and try that. The message updates each time, so event keeps working. So this is how you add events in JavaScript. Key takeaways from this lesson. Number one, use add event listener to handle events. Number two, event trigger functions. Number three, functions control what happens next. Lastly, when you want to handle events in your application, this is the standard way to do it.